I'm hearing a lot of dashing through water, which makes me think we're listening to Dunka in Swamp Palace. Okay, Phant is in Eastern Palace. All he needs is Eastern Palace and Misery Mire. And he can just go mode Misery Mire when he gets there. So I think he's pretty far ahead now.
Yeah, he is. He just needs to get that last crystal, and he will be good to go for the rest of this seed. Because he has that big key for Ganon's Tower, so he'll just march right back up there and finish that, and then be ready to be the first one to complete of these runners anyway. Still no one completing it in the SRL yet, because there could be people who finish this who are not being featured.
I would imagine that a lot of people are going to be hung up on that Swamp Palace vanilla key, so...
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and it looks like things have definitely cleared up for us completely, so we are seeing everything. It's not as slideshowy as before, so we'll get right back into this race. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we are good to go now.
Sigma checking this chest, but it looks like he has enough keys to actually finish, even with checking this chest.
Yeah, Sigma's done a really good job of actually seemingly going to all the locations that were available, because he definitely went to Ice Palace. He did make the swamp play pretty early from these featured runners, so he has a good haul of keys right now. Meanwhile, Lavan, I think, is still looking for that small key for Swamp, so I'm wondering when it's going to hit him that's where he needs to go. And it looks like he is going down there, so he will also have his small key very, very soon.
So we have, it looks like we're going to have probably Phant followed by Dunka of our four racers here going to be finishing, assuming everything goes smoothly. Has Sigma jumped into Pod yet? I see that he hasn't finished either Eastern Palace or Misery Mire. Do we have information about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that too, because I did see him go towards the pod area, so he definitely went in that area before.
I can't imagine you jump into Pod without finishing Eastern Palace, with the big Eastern Palace being in there. The Eastern Palace big key being in there.
Mm-hmm. And I thought I also remember seeing him in Mire after the fact. Okay, he has his Ganon's Tower big key now. Okay, apparently he did not get the Eastern Palace big key, so I'm wondering if he maybe used his keys a little bit differently than from what the other runners did.
It is very, very easy to misuse the keys in pod. There are a lot of single keys behind single chests, and there's his Ganon's Tower big key.
Mm-hmm. And Phant has all the crystals now, so he is going to be making his way to Ganon's Tower, and we'll be finishing this seed up. And as I believe you said earlier, with silver arrows, the butter sword, red mail, and a half magic, Ganon should not be a concern whatsoever.
So, other than the Swamp Palace, we're going to call it a troll. Other than that Swamp Palace thing, this has been a very nice seed. I would imagine a lot of relatively early finishes.
Yeah, the seed has been very generous. If that's the only like big troll, that's really not too bad. It also required going in the pod, which was a pendant, and pods. It's so easy to be kind of scared of pod due to the key logic, as we talked about before. But yeah, like very straightforward. It's been very, very generous from the beginning until now.
And as you can see with the number of hearts that each of our top runners have, BigDunka went a lot more places, but it looks like Phant, if he didn't... he routed much better than BigDunka was able to. And that all of that is coming down to that very, very early Swamp Palace play.
Yeah, for sure, and to give a little more credit to BigDunka, like he's had great routing, but like you said, it was just that small key. That small key is kind of what put him off the path for a really, really long time. During that 20 or so minutes of Phant making progress, BigDunka was looking for that small key, which was in this vanilla location the whole time.
Yeah, and again, BigDunka's routing at the beginning of the game, and really, if that small key was not there, his routing was really fantastic. It's just slightly unfortunate that that's where that small key was.
Yep.
And we are in Ganon's Tower, and we're going to be able to completely skip the bottom of Ganon's Tower. That is one of the things that I really like about Keysanity, is really most of the time you can just skip everything on the bottom of Ganon's Tower here.
Yeah, most I find it's like 50-50. Like half the time you will be looking for it in here, or for an item that will lead to it outside. That's usually how these seem to go for me anyway.
So if you're BigDunka, do you skip Laser Bridge here? Like, we know that Ganon's Tower key is there, but like...
No, if you're still looking for that, you don't skip it. I don't see him skipping that, just because he still needs that, and it's right there.
Well, I know, but like, it is a move I could see someone making.
I suppose. Okay, Sigma is going back to the pod area, so he might grab that big key for Eastern, and then... Oh yeah, I guess all he does need to complete is Eastern, because Meyer is colored in now.
Yeah, he's completed Meyer. All he's missing is that Eastern Palace big key.
So he'll also be in go mode once he... Did Dunka...
Phant getting a little low on arrows here. You don't want to be forced to do silverless Ganon just because you ran out of arrows. And I just we have our first dot done with Kyong92 finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 1:44.09. But our runners are not far behind by any means.
No, definitely not. Even Lavan, who kind of went out of his way to go to more overworld locations and other checks, really, I mean, he's going to have like all of his items very, very shortly. He'll be having the.
I think he's already in go mode.
He still needs the big tower, or the big key for Gan's tower, and the go back through desert. So not quite, but yeah, he's on his way for sure.
To answer the question in the chat, you need to get a certain number of keys in order to finish each of the dungeons, and that is going to be game knowledge in order to understand what is required. As an example, you can finish Turtle Rock with just 3 keys, but only one key is required to finish Swamp Palace, and in this particular seed, that one key was where it normally is in the game, which is not normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talk about Ice Palace not needing any keys a lot, but that's making a lot of assumptions about the runners. Like, we're not only professional runners running here, and a lot of runners that like doing these randomizers do not necessarily have the ability to do that important bomb jump in Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And we have our second finish with Solski finishing in second place with an official SRL time of 1:46.14.
Yeah, very, very nice. We'll have a finish from Phant not too long from now.
Oh, and that was a triple out of Phant.
Oh, nice. And with his last crystal, Sigma will be on his way to Ganon's tower.
And Buttersword making it look easy for Ganondorf here.
Phant on his final phase now.
He misses the torch glitch, but I don't think that's going to be any issue here.
Now, when you have half magic, torch glitch is not really a big deal. In fact, sometimes not getting it can be faster because you can put them in the middle of the room and then get multiple shots off.
I like to say, good game to Phant. And we have Phant finishing with in third place with an official SRL time of 1:48.34, and that is a personal best for Phant. That is a very good game.
By 16 minutes 46 seconds too, so that's a pretty significant PB. And we will be trying to get Phant in here for a small interview. From just looking at what he's saying in chat right now, even he's surprised at his at this run in particular. Hello, Phant. GG. Congrats on that run, man.
Phant, we're not hearing you. If you're talking.
Yeah, make sure your mic's all ready and everything.
Hello?
Hello,
There
Phant.
you
Yeah,
go.
there you are.
Hey. I had Discord muted because I didn't want anything popping up on the restream.
That's completely
Okay.
fair.
So tell us, how are you feeling after that run?
Oh, my heart's beating like 3 times faster than it should be right now. I'm so used to seeing so many people finish before I enter GT, then I entered GT and nobody had finished yet. Like, oh man, oh man.
That early Swamp Palace play really, really paid off for you, man.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe the small key was in there. I was like, you know what? I don't think many people are going to go in here. I know it's like a high likelihood that the small key shows up there. It's like, let's see what happens. I was like, oh crap. And that like led to everything because I just followed stuff in an order, like getting the Ice Rod and Tower of Hera, going into T-Rocks. I was able to finish that up there. It's like, man, everything's just paying off.
Yeah, it
Yep,
really
and-
did. I'll go for it.
We have BigDunka on Ganon now, so he's going to be finishing pretty soon as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were the first of our 4 runners that finished, and honestly, like, it took about 20 to 30 minutes before anyone else checked Swamp Palace for that
wow.
small key, so you had a huge advantage with that. Some of them went to pod, and they got those other big keys which were necessary, which gave them a little ground, because you kind of took a bit before you got to pod, but still, like, that small key was huge. It was really huge.
Yeah, did anybody go into Mire after pod and they already had the big key and they were able to clear it out?
I believe
yes.
at least one person did, yeah.
Yeah, I was pushing off pod because I didn't have any small keys. And then when I got the small key in Aga Tower, I was like, okay, it's time for pod. Because now like all
Okay.
this stuff is actually in the logic.
And we have BigDunka finishing with an official SRL time of 1:51.50 in 4th place, so right on your heels.
Yeah. GG.
With his comment being "stop that," which I'm guessing was this reaction to the Swamp Palace thing, but that's pretty good.
I hope nobody was looking when I got lost in the old man's cave on Death Mountain at the beginning. I was a little tilted after that.
Honestly, didn't see that.
Okay,
Even
good.
comments on
Don't nobody saw anything. Don't go back and watch anything. Nothing happened.
We have our 5th place finish with Wolf 38 finishing in 5th place with an official SRL time of 1:52.41.
But yeah, while we're getting information from BigDunka to see if he wants to come in, yeah, that was a very straightforward seed, wouldn't you say?
Well, at least for me, it seemed to be so. Yeah, everywhere I went just seemed to be the right spot.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, especially at the beginning, you got so many items at the beginning, like
Oh gosh. I was like, really? 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 After getting, what was it, the hammer, the mirror, I think Hookshot was pretty early.
Yeah, we were there was a lot of very early items, very quickly accessible. This was a very nice seed if you don't include the Swamp Palace key.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's really awful. I've been burned by Swamp Palace so many times that I've tended to start checking it earlier. Like I've seen the hammer in there, the hammer in there, the hookshot being in there, just so much stuff.
Okay, we do have BigDunka in the waiting room. Let's go ahead and get him in here. BigDunka, GG.
Oh my god, that is the 4th time.
Yeah, let it out, let it out. You're with friends.
I mean, it's like, where else could it ever be? It's never anywhere else, except when you check there early and then it's a blue rupee.
Yeah, I know that feeling all too well. But aside from that, though, I mean,
You still got 4th. Like, that's a really very good execution on your part. Like, being right behind the other runner who checked there pretty early. That's fantastic execution and a fantastic show, BigDunka.
Yeah, thank you. I and I apologize, but I've got a nasty cold. Yeah, I actually thought I routed very well. I thought I executed very well. What blew my mind is I think there was only one dungeon you had to double dip, and you didn't have to go into ice, and you didn't have to do. I don't even know if you had to do any of Skullwoods. Maybe there was something early in Skullwoods. I don't remember for sure, but you didn't have to double dip hardly anything, and I think I double dipped 4 dungeons.
What was it required double dip? I'm not sure that there was one. Other than, was Eastern Palace required?
Yeah,
Double
Eastern
dip?
early. Yeah, because there were
Moon Pearl and Hookshot, I think, were in Eastern.
Yeah, there were 2 things in Eastern early. So I think that was it. You didn't have to. I don't think. Was Desert? Was there something on Right Side Desert on the locked door key? I think there might have been something there.
I never went there, so I don't know.
Okay, and then no, then it obviously wasn't important. But yeah, I think it's just Eastern early, and then yeah.
Okay,
Ridiculous.
I'm gonna interrupt you because we have a finish from Sigma, our 3rd featured runner, and he's in 7th place with an official SRL time of 1 hour 56 minutes and 6 seconds, still cutting that 2-hour mark.
and right before that, I don't think we announced this, but ACMLM was the 6th place runner with a 1 hour 53:32. If we did, apologies for mentioning it again, but yeah, we did have that finish as well.
No, I mean this had a potential to be like a 125 maybe. If you checked that swamp early and you were able to go mode like 3 different dungeons at the end there, this easily could have been a sub 130.
Yeah, your routing at the beginning was phenomenal. Like picking to go to the south of Link's house, Dark World portal, put Fire Rod in your hands, and just allowed you to go straight up from there and just continue checking locations. Like it was working out almost flawlessly if it wasn't for that small key. That was the only thing that was kind of trolling you there a little bit.
Yeah, and I've had this discussion before with checking that spot, and it's one of those that you want to route in when you do the purple chest. But it happened to be in this case, I came up through the south, and I was able to do the first 2 sections of the smithy route, but I left the chest behind, and then went up north through Skullwoods, and then went to the graveyard route instead of back down south, and then I just never came back.
So I'm gonna go ahead. We have Sigma in the waiting room, so I'm gonna go ahead and move him here.
Okay.
GG Sigma, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. That seed went quite well, I think, actually.
Even with that vanilla Swamp Palace, or are you just used to that happening at this point?
I kind of saw it coming, because at the point I went into Swamp, the only thing that I had left in the logic was Mimic Cave, and if it was up there, then I was going to be really sad, but it was way, way more likely that it was in Swamp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, we have really quickly 2 quick finishes. We have Kova46 finishing in 8th place with a time of 1 hour 57 minutes and 19 seconds, improving PB by 9 minutes. So congrats to him there. Then in 9th we have Zaphod Beeblebrox the 4th finishing in 9th place with a time of 1 hour 59 minutes and 1 second. GG to both of those. One thing I did kind of mention this to Phant earlier when he came in. The one thing that both of you had was that you did go to pod kind of early. Then you went there earlier than Phant at the least, and that did have some progression. So for a while, it was kind of like a guess of, okay, so which one will check the other place first? And yeah, that's kind of how that went. How did you feel about going in a pod when you guys did?
I really tried to put it off for a long time, but it ended up with me having to double dip wire because the big key was in there. And then I was kind of hoping that since pod was a pendant and I only had 2 keys when I went in there the first time, that just meant that all the keys were in Ganon's tower and there wasn't going to be anything deep in pod. That turned out to be wrong. But yeah, I just wanted to leave and not do the mimic room again. But you know,
Yeah.
sometimes there's more there.
Yeah, I wanted to put it off as late as I could, so I'm really glad I did it when I did, because I only needed the Meyer big key and the Eastern Palace big key at that point. So like I was ready to hammer jump. I've been practicing it. I had 4 small keys. Like, okay, I can clear everything. I'm glad I didn't have to.
I didn't have a choice. I don't think I had much left. It was either that or ice, I think, and just by knowing Pod's, ability to hide a bunch of junk in the back, it was a pretty easy thing to do, I guess.
Yeah, pod seems to have like a lot of value, and it's such a weird location to go to because you're just so wondering, like, okay, do I have enough small keys to check everything? And like, it's just it makes routing that in very, very complicated. But lately, it just seems like go to pod for at least some kind of progression that you need at some point. So
Yeah,
I think
trick is the bow.
the logic update that doesn't require the bow to get to the back of pod has done wonders for Keysanity. But it's also meant that pod has been required a lot more than I think runners who have been running this for a while are used to.
yeah, probably.
Well, thanks, guys. I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna get some sleep.
Okay. Thanks for racing. Thanks for coming in to do the interview. Get the feeling better. I know you've had that cold for a while.
Yeah, it's kicking me. So, but thanks everyone, and good night.
Good night.
And we have our last runner finishing up, it looks like.
And yeah, it looks like we have all 4 runners in the top 10 for this particular race. LavanFirestorm finishing in 10th place with a time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 6 seconds, improving his PB by 14 minutes. So very, very nicely done.
This has been a just fantastic seed for improving PBs. We've had 3 new PBs on this seed. 2 of which were our featured runners.
Yeah, and them being very substantial too, like a 14-minute one, a 9-minute one. Like these are pretty decent margins.
16 minutes for Phant.
Yeah. Hello, Lavan. Welcome. GG.
GG. That dang swamp key. I can't wait until they fix that.
I don't know that they're going to fix that. I feel like that is great for seeds and really great for just a really trolly place for that key to be.
It's the worst place for that key to be.
It doesn't soft lock you or anything. They tend to fix things that would cause soft locks as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, no, I think it'll change when they release V28. I think that's when it's going to change.
Yeah, I think they'll still definitely try to fix it. I mean, it's not like game breaking or anything, but they tend to try to balance it out so like locations have an even distribution of appearing in places. So I think it will get fixed. But yeah, it happening again. Like I think I heard someone say this is like the 4th daily seed that's had that at this point.
It's like the 5th seed in a row that I've done that's had it there.
Oh wow!
In a row, wow.
Yeah. It's driving me bananas.
Yeah.
It's almost to the point where I just rush that spot and be like, well, there it is.
That's what Phant did, and that's how he got 3rd place here.
That's a play. Like, I dipped into Turtle Rock hoping to find something there. Dipped into Pod. I dipped into Pod.
Oh, you still got top 10 in this race. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I feel like I wasted a bunch of time going into Pod and going into Turtle Rock, but well, not Pod as much. But I don't like going into Pod with only 2 keys.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that earlier before you got in. It's really hard to kind of make that call on pod when you don't have very many keys, because it's just like, well, I could just go in there, find nothing, and then have to come back later, or I could wait till I have all the keys and just search everything. It's just hard to make that call sometimes.
Yeah, like the weird part about it is if you have the bow, at least you can route most of the dungeon. Do we know where the rest of the pod keys were hiding? I don't remember if I saw them or not.
I don't think so. They really weren't a lot when you think about it, but I remember seeing anyway.
I only found 4 of them.
Okay, I'm not sure. I think I only found 3.
There was one in the 2nd chest in Aga Tower. I can't imagine many people went up there.
Sure didn't touch Aga Tower at all.
The only places outside of GT that I had left were the Big Chest in Thieves Town and Hera Basement. So I'm pretty sure the last 2 pod keys were just in GT.
Yeah, see, I still had Hera Basement, Big Chest, Thieves Town, and I hadn't done Pyramid Fair yet.
It looks like we're getting close to the end of this broadcast, so just before we forget, I want to remind everyone, if you've liked what you've seen here, make sure to follow the runners. You see on the screen, our trackers have been Dawning Arc, and Terminal Crowbar.
Yeah, and very nice work to them, keeping track of everything, even during all the technical hiccups, and just trying to make sure everything is consistent. Did a really, really great job. So thank you to both of you for all the work you did. Of course, always thanks to the Feasel crew working at bringing all these broadcasts to everyone, because honestly, how they do it on 4 channels with so many different tournaments and so many different games is absolutely incredible, and it's just cool that we have just consistent stuff to watch on these Twitch channels every single day at almost every hour of the day.
Yep. I have been D2 Kemps.
And I have been Slim Kirby, and yeah, thank you everybody for watching. This has been very fun and very exciting, and catch you tomorrow for the other dailies that are going on then. So see you guys then.
See you, everyone. Have a good night.